Welcome back again. I'm Marty here at Warehouse and Operations as a Career. Last week we talked about short on trucks, miships, and damages, and we mentioned incentives that may be offered to selectors and loaders, for improving error ratios within the company. Well, over the last week, I heard about a couple of other incentives or bonuses that was being offered or being considered at different facilities that I'd like to share with our group. The first one, and I really like this one because it's easy to achieve. It's just really showing up for work on time. This one is offered to unloaders or lumpers at a distribution facility. It's really simple, it's measurable, and we can figure our incentive throughout the week. Basically, an unloader that shows up for his or her scheduled shift on time, and I'm hearing there's a 15-minute grace period that counts also, and stays until the entire day is finished or until the supervisor dismisses them, will have an additional amount per case added to their piece rate pay. What a great incentive or motivation to get up and ready to walk out the door 10 minutes early every day. Another thought that was brought up somewhere else is an error incentive pool. The way I understood it was a set dollar amount is offered up each week. Monies are deducted from that dollar amount for each short or miship that occurs each shift, and at the end of the week, whatever's left in the pool is paid out equally to each employee that's reported each shift to work and on time. One facility that works off of an activity-based compensation program has as one of its components of the pay a dollar amount that is awarded each day to an associate that's on time for work. I did a little asking around for different bonus programs and incentive structures out there and found almost all of them have an attendance or on-time kicker that's built into them. I know here at WAOC we stress to the point of being on time and reporting to work for every assigned shift, and it's interesting to see how much value employers are placing on just that. Of course, there's something in it for our companies as well. They need the man hours available each shift to ship their products, and I believe it's great how they'll share those savings of not needing the additional overtime to ship their products because the shift's whole and on time every day. The same holds true for error incentives. With reduced error ratios, they may have recovery savings to share with us employees. I often see even better wages at facilities that already have errors under control because they're not out those expenses to begin with. If you have or know of any other examples that I could share with our group, shoot me an email to host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com and I'll pass them along. Another thing that we talked about last week was damages, both product damage and equipment or building damages. Those two subjects sparked a bit of conversation, to say the least. Damages, as we discussed, are another one of those expenses that really have to be controlled. I was told by one individual that there's just going to be damages. He quoted, "When you deal with glass, you're going to break it." Now, I understood what the gentleman was saying, but I feel we have to look across the table here too. I mean, we know it's possible to pull every item without damage in it. We do it throughout the shift every day. In my experience, see how I said experience instead of opinion? We employees can really control damages. I mean, we're professionals at what we do. We handle the product correctly at every station or task. We stack it correctly and follow all of our preferred work methods and really care about what we're doing. We're not going to have any damages. Product or equipment or even building damage. I think I've mentioned it before, but one of the best safety posters I've ever seen was a gentleman standing in front of a judge's podium and saying, "Your Honor, my brakes failed." And the judge replied to him, "Tell a mechanic, not a judge." I know myself, I've known that my forks wasn't evenly spread throughout a pallet, but in that split second decided to go ahead and retrieve the pallet of product, allowing it to tilt maybe a little too much to one side and lost a case or two. Or maybe taking that turn out of the aisle and knew my second pallet wasn't stacked tight enough and watched that 5-gallon bucket of pickles come crashing to the floor. What a mess I created there, and the time and money I lost cleaning it up. I believe, that everything's in place to prevent shorts, miships, and damages of really every kind. We're trained professionals. We know what we're doing. We have the SOPs, or standard operating procedures, and GMPs, our preferred work methods, etc., to follow. And, in many instances, we're even incentivized, not sure if that's a word, but at least bonus to police ourselves. Simply put, I feel if we're the ones taking it seriously, we're going to be making that money and being noticed by our management team. So I'll try to get to a few other of your comments over the next couple of weeks. If you've got any ideas, send them in to me. I'm going to be following up on a couple of different incentive programs, and we'll see how they're going. Today I wanted to get to a question that came up over the weekend. I was asked by an order selector, where else could he go from here? His first warehouse position was in sanitation. He was hired about 23 months ago and has now held the positions of sanitation, unloader, pallet runner, and has been a selector for the last 6 months. Well, after getting over the shock of how many opportunities that he's just cruised through in only 23 months, I asked him what did he want to be doing. His answer was he didn't know. I pointed out to him that he'd started out in sanitation and asked him how he moved on to unloading. He stated that he'd asked his boss if he could go unload trailers because it paid more, and in about 2 weeks his boss moved him over there. I guess he caught on to where I was headed with my questions because he said that's how he became a selector also. So I asked him what it was that he was wanting to do next, and he said he wanted to move into helping route the trucks. I think many times we know what we want to do, but maybe we just don't say it out loud to ourselves, so we get frustrated or bored with our position. I feel it's so important that we go talk with someone, when we do get frustrated. A lot of times, that simple communication can get us started again and push us where we want to go, but just didn't know what we were wanting. I gave him several logistics articles to visit and recommended a couple of supply chain websites for him to check out, and I do believe he's off on another quest now. I spoke with him yesterday, and he signed up for an online logistics course of some kind and really is excited about it. He's already talked with his manager and let him know, what he's learning and to keep him in mind when there's an opening in the transportation department. Men and women, it is so important that we recognize that there are so many opportunities in our fields. If you're one of the lucky ones and already doing what you love to do, that's outstanding. But if you only like what you're doing or are still looking around at the tasks that touch your present one, be sure to plan out your next step and never hesitate to talk to someone, with what it was that you would like to do. This guy, he really likes order selecting, and he'll be doing it a bit longer, but he has a plan now, and his company knows what that plan is. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't end up getting help from his company to reach his next goal at all. Well, I'm packing for a quick trip to Bolingbrook, Illinois. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can grab our old friend Philip and get a mic in his hand while I'm out there. He's always good for some ops advice. Thanks for listening in today. I hope you've checked out our Warehouse Equipment Operators group on Facebook. Be sure to like it if you would. We're having some good conversations over there. Until next week, be prosperous, be productive, and above all, be safe doing it.